excellence in sports entertainment.
Right. I got two left hooves. Who on test? Well, since nobody's stepping to me, take me to your cult leader. Take me to your local drug dealer. Take me to the man in the mirror when you stand and deliver with your hand on the trigger, an emotional terrorist. I-double-M-U-N-E. Never make my enemy public. I'm a private dancer, dancing for money. Do that thing that's funny.
Do. Welcome. Happy Monday morning, everybody. It is Spot Monkey Radio on your YouTube screens. I being joined, of course, by the hosts with the mosts, Mike Greco, Malik, I Love Wrestling History, and myself.
Good morning. Good morning.
While not much has happened in the news stream, as we talked about that on Saturday, me and Malik, but you two gentlemen got the pleasure of watching AEW Revolution. And given by the chat that the group chat that we were in, it seems pretty interesting. So we're going to start with right out of the box with AEW Revolution Fallout and Breakdown. I did not watch this. You couldn't have paid me to watch it.
Okay.
But so I will now give the stage to you two gentlemen who have watched it. What were your thoughts? What were your opinions? What exactly happened for anybody who missed it? Go ahead.
So I'm not really going to start. I'm going to allow Greco to start first. Okay. But I'm going to explain something within context so you can understand. Greco said he was going to walk into watching the show without, any type of expectations or anything like that. I walked into the show the same way. However, a little bit of a caveat. I had like 4 edibles. So what allowed me to stay awake for the show all the way to the end, surprisingly, because usually by 9:45 I crashed out. The fact that I took a nap in between before the show started and woke up like, oh. So go ahead.
Okay. So I crashed out after the Tony Storm match, but it had nothing to do with the pay-per-view. I had to be up at 3:40 in the morning, and I finished watching it this morning. Okay. I'm going to try to do this with a good and a bad because I felt there was good at this pay-per-view. Okay. So we open up with Hangman and MJF.
Yeah.
Okay. The openers that go 25 minutes are driving me crazy. Okay, especially, and now that's the bad. Now, I will give a good. One thing AEW is getting good at is their video packages. They showed one at the end of 0 Hour because I just happened to throw it on 5 minutes before, and they showed one building up for this match, but then you don't show it on the pay-per-view. So if I didn't watch 0 Hour, I would have no clue why these two guys are wrestling each other. Okay? The match was solid. I felt both guys did what they had to do until one spot. One spot, and Tony, I'm going to say this, and your fucking head's going to explode. Okay? MJF hits Hangman with a jumping tombstone onto a chair that doesn't even fold. Like, he hits this onto a chair on the floor, and Hangman's still able to get into the ring for the 10 count.
Not just that. Greco, not just that. What did Hangman do?
He fires up. He gets up, and then he's Super Hangman all of a sudden. Like, every match, this is going to be the issue you're going to see throughout this whole entire breakdown. Every match, I said this week, is not WrestleMania main event. Every match does not have to be Game 7 of the World Series. You can have just a really good, fun match. Now, you've been building this match up for weeks, so I get you on a little more. It was the wrong match to open then. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. MJF, predominantly, if you watched over the years, has always been opening the show since he became a major act for the company. So I understood why that was going to be a thing where if it wasn't him, it was going to be Ospreay's match to open. Like you said already, the issues are that they're treating every match like it's a WrestleMania match. I just had a conversation with Mike Donovan most recently about how I feel about the state of wrestling, or the state of indie wrestling rather, where it's always the constant, everybody's just trying to do cool, fancy moves and look for the next spot, as
Yeah.
opposed to actually entertaining the audience. Now, this is on a grander stage, but it still comes off as if it's just for, probably the people in the back sometimes.
And Malik, not to jump ahead too far, because we don't have to get much into this match. And the most over faces in the company are the Hurt Syndicate. I felt that tag title match would have been perfect to open, because the Outrunners are over as can be, the Hurt Syndicate's over as can be. It would have been a fun, quick 10-minute match that would have got the crowd off hot, and then you could have went into MJF and Hangman.
Well, I mean, we already know that one of Tony Khan's weakest points is actually booking cards. He does not have correctly.
Yeah. Oh, and you see that with this card. Next we get Mercedes versus I'm gonna butcher this girl's name. Help me out, Malik.
Momo, what wannabe, not Wananabe,
whatever. And,
listen,
go ahead.
You sound like a dog with a peanut butter on the roof of his mouth.
Here's the thing with Mercedes Moné. I will never discredit or take away anything that she's done over the last decade within this wrestling business. All of her matches, believe it or not, are pretty solid. The only issue is the gimmick and where it's going and how much longer she's going to be champion. I said to you guys, I think the goal is to have her be the longest TBS champion since Jade Cargill's no longer with the company. Put it on somebody different.
Well, here's my issue with that. What happened? Momo is Japanese for peach. So if anybody's wondering what her name translates to, it's Peach Watanabe.
She's a Peach wannabe? Like, I don't understand.
Peach wannabe. Pretty much. Anyway, Jade Cargill was the first TBS champion, yes?
Yes.
And
508 days.
508 days. Then she won. This show should end it.
Tony, because the set was from 8 p.m. to 11 a.m. Excuse me, 1 a.m. Almost at 11. Listen, it's like the extra hours for no reason, if we're being honest.
And welcome to the show, Kevin. Thank you for hanging out with us. So wait a minute. You're telling me that the show, it went till 1 a.m.?
Oh, no. It went to 12:05.
Okay, but it was scheduled to 1 o'clock.
Correct. And mind you, the pre-show starts at 6:30. That's too much.
6:30.
Wait,
that's too much.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's too much.
The only thing that kind of saves, even though the main event we will get into is fucking. That was the biggest mistake of putting this card together.
Really?
Yes, I will say that the only thing that saves them with the crowd is that it's in LA. So when it started here at 8 o'clock at night, it was starting there at 5 in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, I always say this even about indie shows. Just because the building gives you the time doesn't mean you have to use every minute of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be there until fucking. You don't have to be there for 7 hours.
They had at least 3 or 4 matches on the pre-show. WWE, I'm not crazy about where they have basically 2 hours to kill before the show. Like, all you're doing is showing me the either the vignettes or the video packages that are going to be put together that you're going to show on the card.
On the card,
for that, just don't do anything.
Yeah. The only thing I will say I like what they did was, and I don't know who the Boom guys are. I don't know who these Costco guys are. Maybe I'm just getting to being the old man in the room, okay? I have TikTok, and I don't know who these guys are. This dumb little fat shit that comes out and just goes like this on its face for fucking 45 minutes. I don't get. However, AEW is smart enough to do all of their celebrity stuff for the most part on the pre-show. So you get all that nonsense going on beforehand, and I don't have to watch it on the main card.
I'd rather get slapped in the fucking eardrum and black eye as opposed to watching them.
Let me just quickly read this by Kevin. Main event was not for the AEW champion. The champion was a briefcase champion. I don't know what this means. Is he still?
Well, we will get to that later.
Okay. Kevin hits with a little bit of foreshadowing.
Kevin, you will be recognized later on, my friend.
Right, so,
after the Mercedes match was Was that the tag titles next?
No, I think that was Swerve and Ricochet. Maybe.
Oh, Swerve and Ricochet. Solid match. Again, doesn't have to be a 25-minute, all-out thing. I don't like the idea of that title being for a number one contender spot. I don't think it needed that. I feel like it's just, something else to throw onto it. They tease that, Nana and Swerve have issues. Nana leaves, comes back later on. They're doing the whole Bret Hart PCO thing for the jacket again.
That's it.
And Swerve gets the win. Swerve, I will say, Swerve looks like he's starting to bulk up a little bit. Swerve is looking good. Like Swerve, you could tell is getting ready for something big again.
I enjoyed their match. I thought it was pretty solid. Ricochet has won me over as a heel in the company. I'm just hoping that they do more with him.
Lucha Underground reunion. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess. I mean, looks like I've officially given up on it. I'm not going to lie to you boys. I haven't watched AEW in the last 3 weeks. I can't subject myself to it.
So here's the crazy thing. As I'm actually, I put it on in the background just to help you all understand something. The first 2 matches take up the whole first hour, pretty much take up the majority of the first hour of the show, with a little bit of the third match coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's ridiculous. I understand giving them time, but you were draining your audience with these really super long matches.
Yes, and then what's happening is you're trying to do the same structure in every match. You're starting off very slow because the last match just took a lot out. But every time you're going up that chart, then you're dropping down. It's getting harder and harder for the audience to keep coming back up with you.
I guess Ricochet finally found a character, and the man getting reaction like a heel now. I guess.
Sorry, it was a reflex.
Hey, listen, they all gotta find their thing, right? Jey Uso has the yeet. He has that weird noise thing that he makes. Are we
the Jada kiss, basically?
Yeah. So now what else happened? So now we're fucking an hour in, and we're just onto a third match, which is Ricochet.
That was the third match.
What's after that?
You had Brody King and Okada, pretty solid match. Okada won. Okada's been the Continental Classic champion for at least a year now, and as much as people enjoyed Okada from New Japan days, there's not much of what's going on. This is basically Okada's WWE version of a gimmick, if you want to call it that, here in the States. And I'm not crazy about it. It's just like, just let him go out there and wrestle. I don't expect him to cut great promos. And, it's a little funny every once in a while, the whole bitch thing at random, but all the time now.
Yeah.
I think
you served him up. You basically just served him up the House of Black because you wanted to show that we're really serious about these guys.
So we were literally now, as I've been fast forwarding as I'm talking to you guys, an hour and a half, 4 matches have transpired now.
Jesus Christ! All right, so then what was next?
The Outrunners taking on the Hurt. Yes.
Yeah. And the crowd was in the Outrunners are like this 80s gimmick team. They're very entertaining.
Now, the Hurt Business are supposed to be heels, or are they?
Yeah, no, they're heels. Now here's the funny thing, Greco. The way the story, because I know Tony, like you said, Tony hasn't been watching, so allow us to give you more context. Right. It was originally looking like it was going to be the Murder Machines, Lance Archer, and the hell's the other meathead? Brian Cage, that meathead. Yeah.
Jack Hugh Jackman.
Muscle Hamster.
Yeah, Muscle Hamster is wild. However, the Outrunners wound up taking the spot because, whoever won that tag match, which I think took place actually on Dynamite, not Collision, surprisingly, and the Outrunners got the W. My thing is the Outrunners have become a hot thing, I guess, through being in ROH and then making it on to,
Collision,
and then Dynamite. What happened to tag teams like FTR?
Yeah, what happened to them?
I don't. They were coming out with the Outrunners. I thought at some point we were going to get a heel FTR team.
Like what are we doing? Huh?
I think we're gonna wind up getting FTR versus Hurt Syndicate at the Texas show. All out, all in, whatever it's called.
Because the way these guys won the match, where they both basically hit their finishes and did it back to back on the tag team, I was just like, who's really gonna beat these guys for the titles?
Right. No one should. Right. I said to you yesterday, not even Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is a specimen in himself. Shelton Benjamin is a monster compared to anyone standing in the ring on the AEW roster.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. The last thing I remember of us watching AEW was them beating the crap out of Private Party when they won the belts.
They hurt.
I just remember seeing the two of them, and I felt like this is like two men playing with boys. They're like two grown-ass men playing like a sport with kids who are just like learning the game. And I feel like I don't know why they're over. If I asked you why are they over, could you explain it to me? Why they're baby faces when they're trying to be heels?
I think people just like them. People just like.
Saying. So
it's crazy for Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley before he went to TNA and even when he first came back to WWE, he was just like stale. Like nobody cared about him.
Yeah.
And then it's like a switch just happened and people started to like him. We used to fight about this all the time because I've always liked Lashley. Okay.
I just, I always go back to the early days with the soft-spoken, hard-hitting. Remember that dumb?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's what's funny is Lashley came in 2005 actually, so it'll be his 20th year in professional wrestling, and I remember those vignettes and the ridiculous things that they put him against. They put him against Simon Dean and Simon Dean lost. He had to eat all these cheeseburgers. This was really ridiculous stuff that he was involved in when he first came around.
Yeah.
But they were trying to find ways to make him a major player, which they eventually did.
Yeah.
And he's still a big deal.
Yeah, I always say that his TNA run is what really, when he came back what got him back to WWE for that big run that he did have when he came back. Mm-hmm. He had to hone. A lot of people like, listen, you just said it yourself. Sometimes people have to leave. They need a fresh coat of paint somewhere else. Even Ricochet apparently is becoming at least memorable to where people are talking about him. So you might sometimes I said this a couple weeks ago that I think Ricochet needed to go to AEW because it was a dead end at WWE for him. Like he had hit, I think, his end of his rope, and I don't think there's really anywhere else he could go. I think he needed this so he can show them that he can break through onto the other side, and I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, he's the only guy in I think WWE history to win all the big card titles.
Yeah, but like I said, you guys, you bring in a guy like Bobby Lashley, a seasoned same thing with Shelton, decorated veteran, right? These guys, they look like I said, they're playing with kids at this point.
Yes,
and it's not. I don't know the outlanders, outliers, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't
Outrunners.
Outrunners, whatever the fuck they're called. I think I've seen them run in and help people, but I've never seen their work. So,
it's a good gimmick. They come out like it's like the old VHS tape, like when they're coming out. Their big thing is they do a double elbow drop where they both scream, "You son of a bitch," and they clap hands.
Tony's still not impressed. He finds it to be outlandish. That's the reason why I kept coming up with all those different words. I know that's what you were looking for.
But at the same time, it's just in the tag team division now. It's I agree with Malik. Like, who are you actually going to put? FTR might be the only guy that could possibly take the titles off.
I would say so, yeah, because at least I believe that they're a seasoned tag team that have a proven track record. There are other tag teams in AEW. Like, and again, I don't want to go backwards, but I refer you to when they beat the shit out of Private Party to take the titles. They did this beautiful thing for Private Party. They put the belts on. They have this big celebration in the ring, only to get the shit kicked out of them a couple of weeks later and lose the belts to these two guys. It's hard to believe that any tag team you put in front of them are going to kind of factor any kind of challenge because of, like I said, the resume. Bobby Lashley, multiple-time world champion. Shelton Benjamin, decorated champion. They've been in WWE, have had major success there with MVP still. You basically took their gimmick from WWE and moved it over here and changed it from the Hurt Business to the Hurt Syndicate. It's the same fucking gimmick. Like, you didn't do anything different.
Now, granted, nothing has changed, Tony. The way they were during the pandemic, the way they are now, they're still older.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a positive. All right, I want to move forward, and I want to discuss the AEW Women's World Championship. Mariah May, Toni Storm, the Hollywood ending.
Was that the name of the match?
Yes.
Yep. And the reason why I sat there in that pause moment is I wanted it to end. I wanted it to end because there's this. These are both very attractive women, and it's already bad enough that some people, men and women alike, are not crazy about female wrestling for whatever reason. You're entitled to your opinion. Both of these two are good in the ring with what they do.
Okay.
The blood was so much. So much blood on this show.
Yeah.
Like, they both look like two Ric Flairs with tits. It's the amount of blood that was just pouring out of them.
Jesus Christ, really that bad, huh?
It's ridiculous.
What led to the blood? Was it a good spot at least?
It was pile driver on the steps to Toni Storm from Mariah May. Is what led to all the blood.
That's where it started. But it gets worse. It gets much worse because we turned it into a fucking a pung-toe tie death match where they both wrapped their hands in fucking tape and put their hands in glass.
Yeah, they thought they were Axel and Ian Rotten Taipei death match where they both basically taped up their fist, dipped it in the buckets, and just started throwing hands. Yeah, Tony. Yeah. Were the best come to wrestling.
Apparently, they had broken glass in the bucket. And they taped their fist up. Yeah, maybe no.
Okay.
Go ahead one second.
Go.
Was the tape thing like always a part of it?
No, it just came out of nowhere.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to see if maybe they tried to make it like, oh no, this is going to be the Hollywood ending, and I'm gonna make your. Yeah, but clearly you can't. Okay, so go ahead. What happened?
The ending spot was the only spot with a weapon that made sense because Toni Storm grabbed the shoe and started fucking going crazy on Mariah May's head, and that's how this all started. Okay. Here's my two biggest issues besides the blood with this whole thing. One, this was so rushed, and you could have done so much more with this whole feud. But because this match was in California, in LA, and you wanted the Hollywood ending, aka the Samoan combat match, aka the no DQ match, aka the every other no holds barred match, every match, you just have to give it a special name now. It's all a no disqualification match, unsanctioned, all the same shit.
That is.
But because you wanted to give it this name, you did it so rushed. And on top of that, you only gave them 12 minutes. You've built this match up for a year with this feud, and you give them 12 minutes.
What'd you say?
I could assure you that was real blood, my friend.
Agreed.
There was nothing gimmick about it because you could see it pouring out of Toni Storm. I'm looking at it right now. I can see it pouring out of her face.
Was it a botch in terms of did she kind of cut herself a little too deep?
No, this is meant to happen that way. This isn't the first time.
I think on the pile driver spot, actually, Pun said that to me when it happened. I think she may have gone a little deep.
That's what I'm saying. Because remember, it reminds me of that Eddie Guerrero versus Bradshaw, where he cut the vein.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a certain wrestler at FVW hitting his head on the thing.
Yeah. Well, when you use a Stanley workout blade instead of the proper blade, that's going to happen. You're going to open yourself up like roast beef.
But anyway, Malik, you said something last night, and I couldn't agree more. I don't want to see either one of these two on TV for at least the next month.
Well, I mean, if you poured buckets of blood, then you shouldn't be.
Like, and then they're also promoting the Queen of the Ring movie as best as they can, and boy, that was tragic. I don't think that happened yet, but it was.
Did you watch it? Are you watching it tomorrow?
No, tomorrow I will see the movie, and I will give you my review of the film next week, Monday.
All right, good. That's good. It's be interesting to hear.
You know what, Malik? I'm gonna go try to see it this week also, just so we're all on the same.
I was like for $8, I was like, why not? For 2 tickets at $8, that's a steal in my book. Where did these balloons come from? What the hell? Did you see that?
I did. Yeah.
Let me see.
If you do a thumbs up, it'll pop
thumbs up. Yeah. Sometimes.
I was like,
the iPhone is crazy.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, he's celebrating. He's going to see a movie.
See a movie.
Celebration.
But as far as the Tony Storm Mariah May match,
bad.
That's what I'm getting at.
Look at this. Malik's doing his own producing over there. His own special effects.
Looking over there with just hand signals. Okay, so now listen. So far, I really literally missed nothing.
We haven't won you over, and we're like, oh, I missed that.
So far, because I'll tell you, most of my night yesterday was taken up by WWE 2K25, and it sounds like I didn't miss a thing, and I had a blast doing what I was doing. So continue. So now you have a debacle of a women's championship match. What does that lead to next?
Konosuke Takeshita taking on Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship.
Okay.
This is basically, to me now, they are 1-1, even though. Uh-oh.
My wife says, God bless you. She thought you sneezed.
Oh. I appreciate that.
There you go.
But to me, I thought that was match of the night for me. It was a very solid match. Completely different finish. You know,
I wasn't crazy about the roll-up finish.
I actually, for the few times, I didn't have an issue with it because it wasn't like he beat him with his finisher. So now they're more than likely going to go back to having a rematch.
Right, and then the storyline could be that he's never hit the one-winged angel on him.
Yeah, it's like, you stole one on me. You got me, but, it was a fluke. So
my problem with Kenny Omega is it doesn't you could turn around and say, oh, you never got the one-winged angel on me. But when he finally does hit it in the match, he'll hit it about 72 more times in that match to get the finish. That's
to be fair, a lot there's only 2 people that I've seen in recent memory where their finishers are truly protected. One is Baron Corbin, the other is Kenny Omega. So as far as that goes, is watching Omega, I can't believe we've actually spent 30 minutes on this subject. Holy shit! Oh my god!
I will say there was one thing in the match that annoyed me a little bit that I didn't like, and I think it's just me nitpicking. I don't like Takeshita taking the table out and trying to set it up like he's going to use it for a move. At that point,
which should be a DQ at that point,
right? I think if you would have just had Don Callis did it, I think it would have had the same effect. The way they used the table in the match was fine. He's working on the ribs, which this was one of the better storytelling matches. How the flow of the match went.
The fact that you're saying that and it's a Kenny Omega match I'm shocked.
No, that's it. I don't agree with. For me, it wasn't a match. I really did enjoy the cage match.
Okay,
but I will say it was, as far as storytelling, it made sense.
Okay,
right. Okay. The cage match. There are some things I enjoyed. There are some things I was just like, now what if you fall?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Either, and here's my thing. It wasn't even necessarily based upon a move. What if you fall? Kyle Fletcher makes his entrance to the ring and he decides to climb the top of the cage.
Which he almost slips.
Yeah, so I was like, what if you fall and you tweak something? You pull a stinger and you just bust up your knee,
Yeah.
He goes to start climbing up. He nearly slips and falls off, but he manages to gather his grip. He's standing up there waiting for Kenny Omega to make his entrance, and Omega climbs up to the other side. Ospreay. And all you have is a visual of the two of these men just standing at the top of the cage, staring at each other. What a cool picture to take.
Okay, so I didn't hate that. What I hate with that is we're doing the old Kevin Dunn 46 WWE camera angles instead of just focusing on the two of them staring at each other from opposite ends of the cage and laying out and letting the crowd like give it a little more. You know, I actually like that, like them up there. Like this is it. This is the final thing with these two.
I would have preferred the two of them standing down on the mat as opposed to standing up on the cage as dick statues. Like, let's just get in the ring, do the classic face to face, and then we start throwing hands. Because climbing all the way up at the top, I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Slowly walk to your opponent and then start weakly throwing hands? No.
No, they'll do that thing where they straddle the cage and just kind of shimmy across it to each other. It makes no sense.
Also, Ospreay's extra whatever this was
what that was?
Entrance.
They wanted to use the light board in the stadium. That's all that was.
Goodness gracious.
That's all that was.
Because Kyle Fletcher's literally sitting there and waiting for this dickhead man to just come out, and I was just like, bro.
At least have like a famous DJ or something doing it.
If there was something to look at, I'm assuming
like Steve Aoki was up on the stage, fucking doing shit, and the lights are going off.
Yeah, that'd be one thing. Yeah, just to have it like that. Again, they don't really have much of a vision. It seems for their product. They just kind of throw shit and just like, hopefully this works. We'll just try this because it to me reeks of desperation when you watch it. Like I said, from the few episodes that I've watched when I started, I really gave it a chance.
It's still crazy that the shortest match on the entire card was the tag title match, and it led with very decent psychology for a match.
Yeah.
I like the cage match for me was the best. I like the story it tells. Like, I know it was a ton of spots. The one spot that watching it before, I don't fucking understand.
Like when you put your tongue through the cage because you want to lick the blood? Like that?
Kyle Fletcher did that about 4 times. How that man doesn't have AIDS or herpes right now, I don't know. That Spanish fly off the top of the cage made absolutely no fucking sense.
It's already difficult enough that it shows how cooperative you have to be when doing such a move like a superplex, like a Spanish fly, like a Hurricane Rana. That was one of those moves that it was just like, you didn't need to do that off of the cage.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
It was, but the actual ending, and I thought that I like the hidden blade. I get the significance of the Tiger Driver onto the Tiger Driver at the end. Mm-hmm. The Styles Clash onto the Tax was fucking great.
Oh, that was crazy.
That's a spot that I'm like, all right, that's a badass spot.
That was pretty crazy.
But now we get to the main event.
Before you do that, before you guys do that, let's answer some questions.
Okay.
Somebody suggested that Tacheshka, whatever his name is, should go to WWE. Is that you guys believe?
Here's my thing. I think one of the biggest issues sometimes that we have is that we Ricochet. If somebody said, "Oh, Ricochet is better off suited in AEW," somebody would probably disagree. Be like, "No, he's better off in WWE." Like, no, he's actually adapting over there in that pool of talent. Konosuke Takeshita probably, to me, works out great whether he's in AEW or WWE.
Okay.
People would probably appreciate him more if he was in WWE based upon how he would be produced. Okay. Here, I think he's been able to flourish on his own and he's done fine. It's just that there was a problem where it was start and stop on getting him showcased.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's on the short list. I always say him and Hobbs, I would 100% love to see.
I just want to bring up that doing moves on chairs whether it be a jumping spike tombstone or a brainbuster through a chair, does not win you any matches here. Just thought
Yeah,
you
I
should
forgot
know
about that one. Yes.
do that.
Just thought you should know that.
Pun says they didn't do a cool DJ for this guy's entrance, but they had a dumb drummer for Swerve, which made no
I forgot about that.
Well,
You
there
know,
go.
you need a drummer for a rap song. That makes plenty of sense.
There's a drum line, bud.
No, I
Yeah.
wish it was a drum line. If it's a drum line, it makes sense.
That's not a bad movie. One mind, one sound. Anyway,
Nico Trana says the rumors that WWE is going to let Shinsuke go when his deal is up. Is there any? Have you guys heard about that yet? I haven't heard anything.
I mean, if it's true, I mean, all he's been doing is surfing. If he goes over to AEW, it won't come as a shock to me.
Yeah. I like this
No.
this presentation of Shinsuke though, with the whole like evil
The dark.
Hogan.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I feel in WWE right now, like, let's be honest, Roman Reigns, Punk's not doing it, but maybe Seth. There's maybe about 3 or 4 guys that if they left WWE, you'd be like, oh, all right, this is something big for AEW.
Yeah.
Anybody else, you're just kind of like, yeah, okay.
All right, so here it is. The main event. Jon Moxley takes on Cope for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. All eyes are on Revolution right now as the scope of the wrestling business is at stake. The Death
No,
Rider,
no, no, no.
the title in
No.
the suitcase, boys.
I was just going to say, he didn't take him on for the AEW title. He took him on for the gray briefcase that he carries around. Okay. Okay. This, listen, I love to shit on. Oh, I want to bring a stat up real quick just because Hun brought this to my attention the other day. Do you know that Jinder Mahal's one WWE title reign is longer than every single reign that Edge ever had with the title?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. I want to give a little credit to Cope. I'm going to use Cope. His gear since he's come back to wrestle, like even in WWE and even to now, I've loved it. Like I love that he goes with all these cool colors and shit.
Yeah,
That's my positive of the match.
Here's my thing. The match itself was not a bad match. The match itself. It wasn't great. It was a decent match.
And
the issue
that
the issue comes into play with how, we're going towards the finish.
I like how it wasn't your typical Moxley match. It wasn't a bloodfest of, him blading 6 minutes into the match just because he's Jon Moxley. That's what he does.
Fucking A, man. That guy sucks. Oh, my God. But continue. Were there any good? I mean, I did see one thing this morning that was involving Christian, and I felt like that didn't. I was confused by it. Didn't make any sense. But I'll let you guys.
Okay, so allow me to remind you that Christian won the right to challenge in this big ass gauntlet match. They did it all in London last year. He's been holding on to this contract for since August of last year?
Okay.
Yes. Well, he beat. No. Oh, yeah, August. London. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, Greco, are you high right now? I was like, wait a minute. Or are you drinking? I was like, hey, we're all right here, baby.
I'm sorry.
Talking about this show will do that to you, so I can't really fault you. And he's teased about basically doing a cash in. It's basically Money in the Bank. It's basically Feast or Fire. It's everything that you could think of with what they're trying to do because everybody has to do their own spin-off of Money in the Bank.
Well, first Wheeler Useless comes out and Jay White tries to help him out, like interfere. And I thought that's when we were going to get the Jay White turn. I had said that to you yesterday, but he actually helped, but he accidentally hits Coke with the briefcase.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't even see that. I turned my head or something.
Accidentally, and it was a good accidental. It wasn't like he's setting him up and he just he's not looking and he just turns to fire and Moxley moves.
Gotcha.
Right.
So it wasn't like one of those oops accidentals. It was like oh shit, I fucked up.
Okay, so how does Christian factor in?
So Christian then comes out and he joins the match as he makes it a triple threat.
Okay.
Hits Edge with the Unprettier, goes for the pin, and Moxley, Edge kicks out, and then at some point Moxley then puts Christian in the Bulldog choke and chokes out Christian to win the match.
So the funny part is Christian actually had a pen while being in the Bulldog choke.
Yes.
Jesus.
Like he had his hand.
Me.
He had his hand on Cope.
Yep.
In order to try to get a victory, but obviously when it came to 2, he pulled up because he's in the Bulldog choke, and of course he is choked out.
Yep.
Listen. I thought their last pay-per-view ending was badly in the Fatal 4-Way match that they had.
No, this was awesome.
This is on top of the list and goes above it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Because they wanted to come out and try to give you some sort of shock value. And all they did was upset you.
And even worse, as Moxley's now leaving through the crowd, Prince Nana's in like a hallway type thing, and Moxley's like, what's going on? And Swerve jumps from like the second tier or whatever onto Moxley, and then just poses.
He just double stomps on in so we could set up for Dynasty.
Jesus Christ.
My issue, especially if I'm a fan, why wouldn't you just have Nana come stand out by the ring and Swerve come behind him, hit him with the double stomp? And I'll give you something crazy. Swerve just opens the briefcase. I'm the number 1 contender. I want my belt back. It would have been fine. I would have been like, you know what, the match was shit, but at least you got a go-home ending.
And I don't think anybody's looking forward to seeing Swerve and Moxley.
Want to listen to that? Do you guys know anybody who likes this stuff? Like, you talk to your friends, wrestling fans. My wife just suggested we should talk to a fan of AEW who probably thought this was good and try to see into their psyche. But I think in doing so, it might destroy the space-time continuum, and we might just all go.
What will happen is, here's the thing: you would have to screen test talking to people in order to do this, because I'm not willing. Here's my thing: I don't like actually talking to strangers about wrestling unless I'll be like, oh, it sounds like you know some shit. Okay.
Yeah.
When it's talking to people that are complete strangers that I'm around while being at a wrestling show, I'm ready to pull a bullet in my brain, bro.
Yep.
Like, that's it.
Yep.
I'll be like, I can't do this.
I would say to Pun all the time, it has to be us. Because like people just start coming up to talk to us about it, and I'm just like, oh my God, get the fuck away from me.
Remember, I told you I fell asleep at the last AEW show I went to.
I'll give you one even better. Yeah. I wore the other day to Disney Springs. I wore a Yeet shirt, and it was the biggest mistake I could ever make.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Every single person walked by, Yeet, Yeet, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God!
But you know something that doesn't bother me too much. Here's something that I'm going to tell you. When I used to be a bouncer, bouncing at bars, I had all my freaking Chalkline jackets. I wasn't even wearing anything NWO related. Nothing NWO related. Dude literally came across the street to say what's up to me and to sweet me. I was just like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
He sensed the wrestling fan aura. Yeah.
Like, why, big man? It's Undisputed Era. It's not NWO. Like, what are we doing?
Well, we can put the bow on AEW though for now.
That was real bad. I will end it with Rough Shot's comment. If you want to bring that back up, babe.
Okay.
He says AEW has some moments of hope, glimmers of greatness, but it all comes crashing down in the end. It's because
and it doesn't hurt. It'll hurt your insides.
Yes, it's because they don't know how to execute properly.
Yes.
They have talent. I'm not saying they don't have talent. There's a lot of talent there. It's the problem is the lack of leadership and the lack of creativity to make these storylines and angles execute correctly. What you just told me just sounds like an indie show that we've probably filmed 10 times over. It's just bedlam. The finishes make no sense, and we're just gonna have gimmick matches for the sake of having gimmick matches. It's not. They're indie fans. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what you could have did, and the way, like, again, this is just us armchair booking, armchair quarterbacking. Like, if that pay-per-view was 7 matches, right? And you just take off 2 matches, like the MJF Hangman thing, you didn't need to build this whole feud up in 3 weeks to put on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And what I will say, the one thing with AEW is if they ever just sat back and looked at it, they have guys that they were making into their own stars. Not saying that they're big draws, but you have MJF, you have Hangman, you have Hobbs, you have Takeshita, you have Ospreay now. You don't need to keep bringing in the WWE guys to sell the product.
No, yeah, they had something where it's like you seem like, all right, well, if you stay young, you build like young talent, right? Like I said, you said all those names. Darby Allin was on that list.
Yes.
Ethan Page was there at one point. Like you had a lot of young talent that you could have done something. Eliminate competing for a second. Eliminate trying to compete with WWE because you're never going to, and just be you, and push your young talent and stop trying to grab from there and say, oh look, they're here now. Just build your brand. And listen, TNA tried it and it fucking failed miserably. Did it not? When they started just grabbing WWE guys and bringing it over, and it just didn't work. TNA started to work when they focused on what they had, and they pushed what they had, and they just kind of built around a foundation of what they have. I'm not going to grab from here. We're going to have what we have here and build this. That's the problem with these companies. These companies just. Like Tony Khan, his eyes light up when these WWE guys come over here, and he thinks that, like, I think sometimes they don't even want to be there. It's just a money grab. You got released from there.
Yeah.
You need a fucking job, so you come here. But he makes it sound like they want to be here. They want to be an AEW. I don't really think so.
Here. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No. Why do you think they want to run back to WWE as soon as they can?
That I don't know. I do find it very interesting that Greco said they shouldn't jump up and use more WWE guys. They had 2 AEW originals in the opening contest, and then it ended with 2 former WWE guys. One of them's a Hall of Famer. So a lot of questions.
Well, Christian too.
Another.
Whoa! More balloons! What the hell?
But look throughout the whole card though. At times, Mercedes is in a match. Bobby Lashley and Shelton are in a match. Yeah. Swerve and Ricochet.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay with guys like Swerve and Ricochet. Swerve and Ricochet are still guys that you could build a company around.
Well, they're young.
Yeah. But I feel like you lost what you had in the beginning. Like I think with TNA, like you just said, Tony, like even when they were bringing in WWE guys, like they brought in Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle at the time was still a household name.
Yeah. They brought in Christian at the time when he was like...
Right, and Christian could still go. Like, those were smart moves. Not until Hogan and Bischoff got there that things got really bad.
Everything went straight to hell.
Yes.
Went right down.
Straight to hell. When you put the Nasty Boys over the Dudley Boys.
That's definitely Hulk Hogan booking. Listen, brother, that doesn't work for me, dude. What we're going to do, man, is going to have the Nasty Boys go over on you two brothers. Anyway, speaking of good wrestling, we move over to WWE. This week has been interesting, to say the least, in terms of responses from wrestlers. That's what this is, not the internet. Responses from the wrestlers to the insane double cross of John Cena onto Cody Rhodes. And then, of course, we got Cody Rhodes' response on Friday, as well as my favorite one, which was Randy Orton's. But we'll start on Monday with CM Punk, who people say that he kind of went a little off script. Are you enjoying this? Where everybody now is sounding off on him because he finally kind of showed his true colors. How do you guys feel about these responses so far?
I loved it. I thought Punk's thing wasn't as much towards Cena as it was for like taking shots at for me, The Rock, and then getting into the whole Seth thing.
Yeah.
So we'll get into their whole feud later with the Raw preview. But I didn't look at Punk as much as going after Cena. He said what he had to say. That was it. I agree with you with Randy Orton. That Randy Orton was spot on, and I love when the Cody promo is always the same thing until you get to the point where Cody has no choice but to defend himself.
This is also very true. Pun, if I can tell you how annoying It was cool the first time he did it. Like, look,
Yes.
like, but now it's like every it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, we get it. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is like, and I said this a couple days ago. I always felt like The Rock was overrated. Now, I know that may sound like a surprise to people because everybody, for some reason, loved this fucking guy. But I was always a Steve Austin guy. I was never a Rock guy. And then when Triple H kind of came into the picture, I was a big Triple H guy. So I never, I understand who The Rock was, and he'll hold his place in WWE history. We all know that. But to me, even in his heyday, when we were watching him, all of us, the three of us, right? Even then, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care about the rhyming. I didn't care about shoving things up people's asses. I wasn't really into his whole shtick. And as we got older,
not your kind of kink, huh?
No. As we got older, right? It just got worse. And I enjoyed the idea of the final boss gimmick. I like the idea of it. But I don't know.
That went to shit for me when he started doing the final boss on TV and then coming out at the press conference like, "Hi everyone, I'm Dwayne." Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, we know it's fake. We know it's not real. You don't have to tell us that anymore.
He said, "Hi everybody, I'm Dwayne."
Yeah, hey, it's Dewey, guys.
Rough Shot says Cena's heel turn is literally what's best for business. He's put a spotlight on WrestleMania this year. Yes, listen, WrestleMania to me was pretty interesting already. Like I was ready for it. This just made it like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking good. So again, execution. We just talked about it. When you execute things correctly, it gets people excited for what's to come. And like me and Malik talked about it. Cena comes out, he turns heel, he drops the mic and basically says, "You're not going to hear from me until March 17th. That Raw is going to be highly viewed, obviously. Everybody's going to tune into that Monday Night Raw to see the first fresh coat of paint on John Cena as a heel, how he's going to speak, what he's going to say, how he's going to be presented. There's going to be a spotlight just on Raw. Forget WrestleMania, just on that Raw. So, yeah, this moment was executed perfectly. And like I said, it created a ripple effect through the WWE. So where like CM Punk responded, Randy Orton responded. Cody Rhodes' response to me, I mean, this guy is the babyface.
Yep.
Like that. It was a babyface response. It was perfect. I was just like, I mean, what else do you want the guy to say? The black eye. Listen, we all know that Travis Scott's a bit of a fucking fuckface for doing what he did to Cody, like hitting him like that for real. Mm-hmm. We don't know if they were backstage and Cody's like, if you see an opportunity, take it. We don't know because Cody is a kayfabe guy. Yeah. He's an old school.
He's an old school guy, yeah.
Yeah, he grew up watching. His dad used to kayfabe him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he knows about kayfabe. So to him, he might be like, no, let's make this look as real as possible. I want people to actually feel it. So I'm not going to, like, I know a lot of guys crucify Travis Scott, and Bubba Ray said if he sees him, he'll beat the shit out of him and shit like that. Like,
no, I agree. I think maybe Cody, maybe they, like you said, they beforehand, Cody said, you get a chance to do it. And maybe they went to the back and Cody was like, "You took your shot. Next time, be a little careful because I'm not going to just let you slap me around."
And not only that, Cody in the back of his head probably, when he got hit in the face, was like, okay, WrestleMania. I got it. Don't worry. So it's like in his head, he's just going to bank that receipt. And at WrestleMania, he's going to, I mean, don't be surprised if Cody smacks the taste out of this guy's mouth at WrestleMania. He's holding on to that. Trust me.
I could only hope.
Yeah, because
you don't think when Floyd Mayweather broke Big Show's nose that first chop at Mania there wasn't a little extra mustard to that?
Oh, remember when you punched me in the nose? Now you can't run.
Yes.
Like that's gonna be one of those things. It's like I totally see it happening. So while it's fucked up and unsafe what he did because he got hurt his eardrum and shit, he's getting his receipt. So let's not crucify Travis Scott just yet because he will get his down the road. I love all the responses. I mean, I guess we'll talk briefly because this kind of threw me off. I didn't really see it coming. But Shinsuke lost his belt on Friday and Rhea lost her belt on Monday. Is there a reason why they're going it? Why is the belt on Io Sky now? Why is the belt on? I mean, I'm tending to believe now what Neek said to us about Shinsuke Nakamura obviously possibly not be re-signing if you're taking the belt on him and putting it on LA Knight kind of like on a SmackDown of all things. You didn't really build it up.
You could have built that up to the SmackDown before Mania and just did it.
But you know what's funny about that? Originally, this match was supposed to take place the week before,
and then they did a tournament for LA Knight to just win again.
Yes, I mean, but you know, I guess it was better than just having him win the week before. I don't know.
I think they wanted to try something with Shinsuke. They saw it didn't work. You know, maybe it was something to humble LA Knight a little bit, because sometimes they say, you know, he gets a little too big for his bridges.
Maybe.
You know,
I think maybe they were trying to probably, if this whole thing is true about not re-signing him, they probably trying to maybe work out a deal with Shinsuke, and we're like, let's just push it a week and see, because maybe we'll just keep the belt on him. And then they realized that they weren't kind of meeting.
It could be.
And they were just like, we have to take the belt off just in case he doesn't resign. We just let him go.
I feel the EO thing is because they don't want Rhea to lose at Mania. That's going to turn into a triple threat, and EO will lose to probably Bianca at Mania, which, okay, I'm going to give you my issue with the other night. Okay? Bianca's at Raw last week, and she's Miss I'm Happy, #1 contender, Elimination Chamber, sitting, clapping on EO, clapping on Rhea, gets involved but doesn't get involved. And then she comes out on Friday in all black, all sad, all disheveled over what happened with Jade.
Yeah.
What you could have did, just to make it easier, you could have just held the EO match off a week and had everything happen with Bianca Friday. Now Jade and Naomi are taking care of their stuff. I don't have to worry about it. I need to focus on my Mania opponent.
I don't know, kind of milking the whole heel turn.
It's
at some point.
And I gotta say, I feel like Io Sky has become, and Asuka too. Asuka was probably the first one. They've always gone above that stigmatism of the foreign champion, because the crowd never turns on her. The crowd loves Io. Like, she's always like out there, and people go nuts. And Asuka gets the same response.
Because Americans love anime. That's good.
Dynamite, Dominique.
Dynamite dropping, babe. Great producer. Speaking of producing, she started a lot of comments. So if you want to start bringing them up, babe, we can get to the comments real quick. Just start from the beginning. But a lot of people tend to like. Here you go. So Tetsuya was buried in ROH at first. He did prove himself, and now he's proven himself in AEW. I guess I don't watch ROH, but if that is true, I'm not surprised.
Roughshod, we're going to take your word on that.
Yeah. Tristan, see whatever happened to Tajiri. Tajiri left to be a teacher, right, in Japan when he first.
I think he still wrestles now.
But now, I think he produces now out there. I think he does like a worst wrestler alive. Is this John Moxley? Because if so,
it's probably Moxley.
It's
content.
Just listen. It was probably Moxley. Yeah, so it's probably Moxley.
It definitely had to be Moxley.
Yeah, Tajiri's in Japan, Tristan. I think he's a producer.
Okay.
I think that's what he's doing now. Yeah, he's like
he has like a degree in like mathematics or something.
Yeah, very smart guy. Yeah, big surprise. Big Japanese guy knows math. Kevin it might be in the same boat as me at this point. I don't remember how the AEW Championships looks like anymore because it's been in a briefcase for so fucking long.
Google it.
And go to AEWshop.com. I'm sure they have the replica one sitting there ready to be purchased. Which Malik, the belts a little expensive nowadays, aren't they? Jesus Christ, they
like
got
$500.
That title is $700.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where are the four pillars
now?
Well, let's see. Darby's climbing Mount Everest.
Correct.
MJF just lost.
Correct.
Sammy is doing TikToks looking underneath his wife's skirt. Jeez. And Britt is, being a dentist.
I don't.
Yeah.
I thought Jungle Boy was a. Yeah.
Jungle Boy. Yeah. Jungle Boy. In the beginning, AEW was awesome. The more they went along, it just became a knockoff of WWE. At this point, Rough Shot, I would say it's a knockoff of WCW circa 2001. It's not good. You know, you watch
Yeah.
it, you can say, like somebody said, it's like the animals are running the zoo, the inmates are running the asylum, and when you watch WCW at the end, it was literally apparent that the inmates were running the asylum. So
what was the group called? The seven guys, the
Natural Born Thrillers.
Natural Born Thrillers. There we go. I remember Mike. Was it Mike? Not Mike Knox.
Mike Sanders.
Mike
above
Sanders.
average.
Above
Above average, Mike Sanders.
Okay.
That's right.
They had-
We'll get into WCW later. We'll save
I never,
WCW.
yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Great moment. AEW got that animals running the zoo feel. Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
It's the inmates running the asylum. That's why it's not good anymore. That's why it sucks. When did he start taking souls? Like, that was a big thing for me. When the fuck did this guy? I even got sunglasses, Malik, now for my Rock impression. You know, because I noticed that the Rock now that he's the final boss, he says people's full names. You know, it's never just Cody. It's Cody Rhodes. I want
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes, and his hands always the same. Everybody's now talking about hand motions. 3, 2, 1. It's like fucking so stupid, so dumb. Is that Raw going live or pre-taped? The one with Cena, I assume.
That's live.
That's live. I think just the SmackDown crew is going over to Germany, I believe, or.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Barcelona or something like that.
Barcelona, yeah.
They're doing a whole like European tour right now, right? Because I think it's
but all episodes of Raw will be live still.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Nico Tronis, fuck Travis Scott, no business being in the business. Listen, a lot of wrestlers tend to not like when celebrities come in because they don't know how it works. They think they know, but they don't fucking know it all. Okay. And so, you know, if you're gonna come in, Logan Paul figured it out.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Bad Bunny. That's figured it out. He's pretty good. If Travis Scott is serious about it, they say that he's training and he's learning. He will learn in training that what he did was a no-no and he should never do something like that again. And if he wants to take it seriously, it'll show when he finally wrestles. Like you saw Logan Paul, you saw Bad Bunny. They took it seriously. Bad Bunny has been a wrestling fan his whole life. You obviously could see it in his face when he came out and just the way he ate it up. Travis Scott, I don't know. We'll see.
Would we get then Rock, Cena, Travis Scott versus Cody, Roman?
God, no.
Bite your fucking tongue. I honestly didn't even know who Travis Scott was before the pay-per-view. You know, this is neither did my wife, but here's the thing. He's not very like a popular rapper overseas. So a lot of people overseas in Australia and and Tristan, I think he's from Australia. Nobody knows who Travis Scott is. So
Pun's favorite rapper, right?
Oh, I was just gonna say Pun.
Ask
Pun how much he likes Travis Scott.
Yeah, I bet he's signing off the comments right now. Nakamura. Okay, so Nakamura's brother passed away. That's why the match got postponed a week.
Okay.
That's why he had to win a tournament match to fight him. They probably gave Shinsuke some time. Like I said, I'm a big fan of this whole Shogun fucking evil samurai shit. I like gimmicks like that.
Love them, the Surf Ninjas, totally.
Maybe that's what it is for me, Malik. That's a very Ninja Turtles 3 vibe.
How do we feel about the rumors that Cena's going to be going Lex Luthor for this run?
Shaving his head bald?
Shaving his head bald?
Jesus. You know what'd be great is if on Monday on the 17th he comes out with The Rock and The Rock goes, John Cena, you are my champion. And as my champion, you must shave your head bald here and join The Rock. And he does it live because he's all in.
He comes out in a Black Adam costume.
Oh, my God.
Because you can't see me.
No, even better. I want The Rock at some point to look at Cena and be like, this place is in disarray. This place is in ruins. What I need from you is I need you to be my peacemaker in this place.
Oh, God. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. So, like I said, that was briefly what we're going to talk about because we got some TNA NXT stuff to talk about. And what I mean by this is Malik.
Yeah, Malik, we know you're going tomorrow night. We know.
Now, Malik has a jam-packed schedule for the next 2 days because he's going to be at Raw tonight at the Garden, and then he's going to be at NXT tomorrow at the Garden. So
Stupid
how do you feel? How do you feel about the card tomorrow, Malik?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I think the NXT card is a better card than the Raw card. But we'll see how that.
You have good seats because we're gonna look out for you. You all the way up in the nosebleeds.
No, I have decent seats.
You have decent seats, so keep an eye out for them.
For NXT, I definitely have decent seats.
Okay.
I'm trying to build a sign: no bread, no water, just meat. So hopefully, that comes up on TV.
Please do that'd be great. But are you excited? What crossover matches are we seeing tomorrow on NXT?
You got Moose challenging for the NXT Championship against Obafemi, the two big Nigerians. Big meaty men slapping meat. You have the TNA Tag Team Champions, Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, taking on Fraxium.
Okay, so that's gonna be good, right? That's gonna be good.
Yes. I want to think the main event, it can't be the women as the main event. I feel like that's an opening match. Julia and Stephanie Becerra. The only reason why I say that is because there's no way you're getting a winner in that match.
Agreed.
Well, yeah.
Unless there are rumors that Julia could be hurt. So the only I could see if she's actually hurt, either like her getting attacked before the show and it not happening, or Vakor beating her like pretty quickly just because she's injured.
That'll be wild. You know how many people will be upset?
Yeah.
It depends on the injury. If it's somewhere she's going to be out for like a month, then just do the attack thing and save it for a pay-per-view.
If you had to tell me to make an educated guess, I would assume Obafemi and Musa are headlining that.
I would say so.
Yeah, without question. So that's
hot crowd for that too.
Oh, for sure. And Malik is going to be in the fucking crowd, ready to go, ready to cheer. Oh, yeah. Buddy, I'm happy for you. I'm going to be.
I'm not. Gotta have a baby, They're
not coming down your way at some point. You don't think you're going to get a nice NXT TNA joint?
Yeah, I am. It's supposed to be on a Memorial Day weekend, and guess when the Florida baby shower will be?
Damn. You can't win, bro.
So Nigotrana says my wife will walk out with 2 belts. I assume that's Stephanie Vakir or Julia. Which one are you?
She is everybody's wife right now.
Okay, who is it? Stephanie Vakir, I assume, because everybody's a big fan, right? Everybody in the chat.
Yeah, everybody, as your wife likes to say, we're all simping over her.
big time.
I will say her with Bully Ray last week and her saying to him, her giving him her horns to try on and going, I'm going to give you the Diablo. You could see in Bully Ray's face what he wants to say.
Oh, you can't say that. You got to be questionable.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this. Bully Ray's Busted Open After Dark is pretty funny.
Yes.
What? A ferret? Do you have a ferret behind you? Greco?
Me?
Do you have some kind of animal? I think she sees. I think she sees the thing. Mine, you think it's an animal? No, it's not.
Animal? No, I just got a couple of Disney cups.
It's a refrigerator.
It's a refrigerator.
Oh my god!
That says WWE better than AEW. I literally wrote that just for this podcast. Grace is like, "Why does it say this on our board?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I got bored."
Yeah, I see. Like it looks like the little white thing. Yeah.
It's okay. No, Malik, I am happy for you. I think tomorrow night is going to be awesome, especially crowd wise, and then even tonight because who's probably coming out tonight.
Yeah. So now let's get to that Raw preview. Steel cage match, Malik. You're going to be witness to CM Punk and Seth Rollins putting a fucking exclamation point on this story, if you will. Now
so
everybody,
will they?
Everybody is speculating that we will be graced. He's going to take a break from the island of relevancy to come back and join us here in the sea of obscurity, right? Roman Reigns will return and get involved here. What do you think's going to happen? You're going to be live in the crowd, brother. It's Madison Square Garden. We know every time they come to the Garden, they really bring out the best. How do you think tonight's Raw is going to play out?
I get this feeling that Rollins is going to win. I don't know why. It just feels like he might win.
I feel like he needs one because he keeps losing.
And then I don't know. That's when Roman Reigns decides to interject himself into the matter. But I don't think Punk is going to be happy that he's come to his rescue. So that's how we somehow translated towards getting a triple threat match for Mania.
Okay.
I think that Roman goes to spear Seth. Seth moves, nails Punk. Seth throws Roman into the cage or something, gets the pin on Punk, and that's how you start building for the triple threat.
You get them involved. Okay. I like that. That's good. That's good. I don't know what other matches they're going to be tonight. Do you know any?
Grayson Waller, I think, is taking on Jey Uso.
Okay, good.
Do we have any women's matches? I felt like
I don't know. I'm sure you'll see something.
I'm sure something with Rhea, with Io, they're going to start.
Something's going to go on tonight. Like I said, it's the Garden, so they're going to have all the stars.
Do we think that triple threat match is going to main event night one?
No. It'll be the first time that Roman Reigns does not main event at Mania.
Yeah, in a very long time.
Okay.
And it wouldn't shock me if Roman Reigns wins that triple threat and the winner fights like Cody the next night, and Cody headlines night one with Cena. That wouldn't shock me neither.
I think they're trying to stick away from doing things like that.
I mean,
it would be interesting if it would be one of those deals where, all right, sweeten the pot, but I think that's just overbooking your Mania card.
Yeah.
You want to get a decent amount of talent on both nights. I don't think you want to have another situation where it's Roman, Cody, and Seth Rollins wrestling back-to-back nights. I don't think they want to do that this year.
Okay.
I don't think you need to do that. Like you could see they're going with the Priest McIntyre match, which I don't love for McIntyre, but at least he's getting a match probably on the card.
Yeah.
You always go back, Mania was always about first time matches or matches that just had build up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't always need you don't need 10 title matches on a Mania card. You could have just other random matches.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, because they always do some kind of gimmick match at WrestleMania, do we think it's going to be involving the SmackDown tag titles? Because that's why I think it's going to be the gimmick match this year.
It has to. With the way everything is moving around, I don't see why not.
I'm seeing a ladder match, fatal four-way.
Probably a ladder match.
Yeah,
which I really enjoyed the way Nick Aldis explained everything. I thought it was that was very interesting and entertaining.
Can we just take a second to acknowledge the two general managers of the shows? I like Adam Pearce on Raw, and I love Nick Aldis on SmackDown. I think they do fantastic work.
Now, of course, had this been, back in the days of when general managers used to face each other, I would have been fine with those two working a match.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you could still maybe get it at some point.
Yeah, Nick Aldis seems that he looks in great shape still.
The thing they said when he signed, AEW offered him a contract. They offered him even more money. But because he didn't want to wrestle as much. He wanted to be home more with his family. He probably works Fridays and maybe one other day during the week.
Yeah.
And Ava and NXT, I don't hate her as the GM. It doesn't bother me.
My issue is she looks like the Rock.
Is it because, as a person who doesn't have many teeth left, is it because she talks with her teeth? That's why you're not a fan of hers? Fun. Is that what it is?
Tonight we're gonna have these guys fight. It's clearly nepotism because she probably tried to be a wrestler.
There was a terrible rumor that she would, I guess, kind of play out like her dad is the final boss, but I don't see that happening. I really don't. No, that's a crazy rumor.
What I actually like what they do with her a lot of times, they do a lot of stuff with her and Robert Stone, which I think is pretty funny.
Okay, Robert Stone, isn't that what's his face?
Robbie E.
Robbie E. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's funny. Anyway, I'm happy for you. You're gonna have a great 2 days, buddy.
I am too, I guess.
Now that being
that's so petty.
She reminds me of the duck from Chicken Little.
What's her name? Ballard. Becky Ballard.
Becky.
Oh, yo.
Don't ask how I just
remember. You guys, I don't know, maybe because you might not be comic book readers, but there was a comic book where there was a giant purple character, and he had these front teeth like this. And every time that girl speaks, I just think of that character. Every time she speaks, I just think of that character with the teeth. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, cover your fucking mouth, will you? Speaking of which, just recently, I just noticed it, and they did it over the weekend. WWE released a WCW YouTube, and they're dropping like full events, full matches, segments, and they had a live watch thing where they basically just kind of played live wrestling for the last 3 days, and I kind of tuned in a bunch of times, and there was a feeling that I had gotten that I didn't realize that I had, but I missed WCW. Like when I was watching it, and I'm talking 1991 Super Brawl. They showed like 1988. They were showing 96, 90. They even showed the last WCW pay-per-view, Greed, which was crazy.
Geez.
Yeah. So, but there were moments from WCW that I remember very fondly, and I'm watching it back and seeing some of those moments really kind of rekindled it. So I figured we would use today to kind of just talk, since it just launched, we would kind of talk some of our favorite WCW moments. There's no like particular list. You don't need like a top 5 or anything. Just some of your favorite moments. We'll start with Malik because you have the Instagram, I Love Wrestling History. Go follow him on Instagram. You would probably know the most about the history. What were some of your favorite moments from WCW? Obviously, let's just right out of the box exclude Hogan joining the NWO. Because
so I don't know if it's just me, but I never looked at Sting defeating Hogan as anything fondly, just because of the screw finish. Like looking back at it now, at the time, as a teenager, yes, and I was a grown adult man, I was just like,
it was ugly. It was an ugly finish.
This is messy. I love Surfer Sting, so
yeah.
I wasn't. I obviously I didn't know or pay attention much mind to when he was chasing Flair for the title, but when he had the rivalry with Luger, that was one of my favorites to watch. His matches up against Vader were awesome. His matches against Cactus Jack. Surfer Sting was just the best to me.
Yeah, he was. It was very. I missed that Sting.
So
that's one of the things I missed most when I was watching WCW. By the way,
Yeah.
My first WCW memory, like that I can remember a match, is Sting and Flair against Terry Funk and Muta at Halloween Havoc in that cage, and Sting swinging on the rope and being like, "This is the coolest fucking guy I've ever seen in my life."
Sting is great.
Like WCW had moments that were like really cool when you go back and watch it.
You go back and watch him, yeah. And here's obviously one of my favorite moments from WCW, and it was obviously later. It was in the 90s. It was when Sting was doing the crow gimmick. It was one of the first times he had dropped from the ceiling. It was on a pay-per-view. I don't know if it was uncensored.
Uncensored.
Okay. Was it uncensored? Where he gets in the ring and he starts attacking everybody?
Yep.
When I tell you, that was the very first time that I had fully marked out for a WCW wrestler. Yeah. You want to talk this bullshit? Yeah. When Sting comes down and he starts beating the shit out of the NWO and Macho Man comes off and he hits him with the bat.
Because you don't know what he's going to do. He hasn't, he's attacked everyone at that point.
Bro, I went fucking bananas for that moment in that day. When Nash beat Goldberg, I know people tend to shit on it, but I went bananas for it because I couldn't stand Goldberg. I loved it when I watched it. When they fucking shock him and they jackknife him. And even then, I was like, dude, they didn't bury you. They needed a cattle prod.
Yeah.
Beat you, and you still had an attitude about it. Like, it's fucking crazy. But even the finger poke of doom, while stupid and confusing, still was like, the thing. Okay, so Nash wins the title from Goldberg on Sunday. He then fights Hogan the next night on Nitro.
Like a week later, actually.
No, it was a week later because Hogan was supposed to be retiring.
Because it was the same night that Foley wound up defeating The Rock for the title.
Okay.
So it was a crazy time in wrestling. You think about it, in the early 99.
He's going to fight Hulk Hogan. At the time, they were two separate NWO entities. There was the Wolfpack versus the Black and White. So there was like a lot of animosity. So you thought it was going to be like a legitimate match between the two, right? They get in the ring. Hulk Hogan literally does this to Nash. He bumps, he pins him, he wins the belt. That's called the finger poke of doom. Yes. Now, if I don't want to go back to WWF, but the best finger poke of doom to me was Shawn Michaels
and Triple H
for the European Championship on Monday Night Raw. When Shawn Michaels cries, it was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
And nobody batted an eye about that. And the fact that Hogan came in where he was playing off like he was going to go into politics.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. It's so ridiculous.
I got a great WCW moment. Dean Malenko winning Battle Royal as Sequel Pay
Yeah.
Yes.
And taking the mask off, and you watch the crowd because you know it's him, and the fucking crowd at that moment. Demon League could have main evented WrestleMania the way he was getting over at that time.
Crowd was over. Yeah, that crowd was.
They go nuts, and he just goes off on.
If you remember that moment, there was a moment where people were like, "What the hell?" Because Hoovy looks right at Cyclope, doesn't say a word, just nods and jumps out and eliminates himself. People are like, "What the fuck?" And then at that moment, people start kind of putting it together. Like, wait a minute, I don't think this is actually Cyclope because they're not going to make this guy fight Chris Jericho. And then that mask removal was pretty fucking awesome. Listen, the very first Nitro, Lex Luger showing up. That was played a bunch of times on that live stream. That was a fucking crazy moment. I remember going, what the fuck is happening right now? Why is Lex Luger here on Nitro? It was even when Macho Man showed up on WCW Saturday Night. Like, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Scott Steiner betraying Rick Steiner was pretty. It's up there for me.
Yep.
Hell yeah. That was a big fucking moment, too.
That was something you were not expecting to see.
No. Yeah. Although, at that point, Scott Steiner, at that point, was literally the definition of genetic freak. Like, it was crazy how he was starting to look right at the end of his run with the Stein brothers. And when he went into Big Papa Pump, it was fucking crazy. You know, another moment from WCW, speaking of Big Papa Pump, when he came out with the tiger on the chain. A real tiger. They were probably backstage because they had to be backstage when you used animals. He came out with a tiger as an entrance. He had him on a chain. He just come walking out, walking like a dog.
DDP dressed as La Parka.
The Diamond Cutting Macho Man. Great fucking moment.
David Arquette.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You want to speak of a moment. The only thing I'll take away from that era is WCW came up with one of my favorite matches, which was that triple cage. They took it from the movie.
Do you remember the first time they did something like that, where it was Hogan and Savage going against the entire Horseman and Dungeon of Doom?
The Doomsday matches. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They wrestled like at least 8 dudes, and one of them was Zeus. Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like Zeus and Yeti. It was two giant guys. It was so fucking weird. Yeah.
Luger. I think Luger winning
Nitro. Hell yeah, man. Listen, those guys got the spotlight put on them. I know ECW. Paul Heyman will always take credit, and he deserves credit. He brought them in first, but nobody was watching ECW at that time. Nobody. No, you didn't realize the spotlight was on Lucha Libre until Eric Bischoff started bringing them all in, and he started.
That's a good one, pun.
On night Conan hitting the Diamond Cutter on every.
Oh, Canyon.
Canyon.
He meant Canyon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Red. I read Conan. I meant Canyon. Yeah, Canyon. I remember that. Canyon too. He was a good wrestler. Very highly underrated, I believe.
The innovator of offense.
Yeah. Chris Canyon. I like Mortis. I like that gimmick Mortis. I thought it was good when it first came out.
They actually have matches of him as Mortis in WWE, which is great.
Yeah,
I know everyone talks about Luger racking Hogan to win the title. When Luger racks Big Show and gets like that first like big win for WCW.
Yeah.
You know,
I was just watching. I don't know if it was him on Chris Van Vliet or it was him on the Undertaker podcast, but he was like he didn't know he was winning the belt until right before he walked out. Hogan and Bischoff pulled him off to the side and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna put the belt on you." And he's like, "You serious right now?" And Hogan looked at me and said, This crowd loves you. You're over. We're gonna put the belt on you." And obviously Hogan wins it back. A couple weeks later?
A week later.
A week later.
Yeah.
But like,
speaking of Lex Luger, congratulations
going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Going to Hall of Fame, well deserved.
Yeah. I like how they did it too. He was just hanging out. Did you see that thing where he asked Chat GPT about WCW Grand Slam wrestlers? And they don't say his name.
That video's hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, "Can you tell me grandson?" And they name everybody else, including DDP, who starts laughing.
That first name they say is crazy. It said Chris Benoit. Like, that was the first name that comes up. I was like, "Geez."
At the very end, Lex Luger goes, "Huh? Wait." And he goes, "What about Lex Luger?" It was pretty good, man.
Tristan said the Shockmaster. I think we can all start naming bad WCW moments.
I'll get you right now. That 70s guy.
Mike Awesome?
Man. Yeah.
The Fat Chick Thriller? That was him.
Fat Chick Thriller, yeah. Okay. The Natural Born Thrillers were terrible at the end.
I know we're getting on bad things. I will say one good thing. If you go back, I think it was Bash at the Beach. It's Scott Steiner versus Mike Awesome. It is a very good match.
Yeah, yeah. Listen.
Okay. Rufus. Rufus is great.
I'm glad you brought that up because you just literally Jericho's entire.
I think he means Ralphus.
Ralphus.
He got it.
Yeah, Ralphus. But the Jericho's entire heel run in WCW to me was one of my favorite things about WCW. Man of 1,004 holds, the list, Ralphus, everything he did with his hair. Whenever he would come out and cut a promo, he would say something silly at the beginning, or he would do something conspiracy theory shit he did. That was hilarious. Like I said, there was a lot of moments in WCW where you were like, oh, this is awesome. Like they kind of turned wrestling on its head, essentially, in terms of, at least at that point. I know ECW was doing a lot of shit that was kind of similar, and WWE and WCW jacked their style. But listen, they jacked your style because you weren't on the same plateau as them.
No.
So they can't steal from you, and no one's going to give you credit because you're not on the same stage. Essentially, I know it's the truth, and obviously, Paul Heyman gets his flowers now for it, but it doesn't matter. WCW had some great fucking moments, man.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
And of course, Jim Ross's enthusiastic commentary. It's RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop. See,
RoboCop. See, you want to get into fucking cap? Remember Chucky, the doll?
Oh my god!
He's talking to Rick Steiner. Remember that?
What the shot? Not Chuck. What was the one with Metallica?
The movie had just.
You mean Kiss?
Kiss. Sorry.
The Kiss.
The Demon.
The Demon.
Yeah, the Kiss Demon. I remember him.
Oh my god.
He was the strength and conditioning coach for the White Sox. Remember on TNA?
Yeah, Danny Tartable.
Yeah. Danny Tartable. I thought he was a baseball player.
No.
Dale Torborg.
Dale Torborg.
Yeah. He said Danny Tartable.
I was like, who?
Danny Tartable was a baseball player. Oh my goodness. But the bottom line is WCW is up on YouTube. They're constantly now starting to add new stuff. I believe it's because they said on the network, a lot of people aren't watching these things. So they're kind of taking it off the WWE network. If you notice, there's some things it's missing. You're like, what the fuck happened to these shows? It's because they're saying that no one's watching them. Like the new audience, like the young kids, they're not watching WCW. And think about it this way. When we were young, we watched it because we wanted to be wrestlers, right? But when we were marks, I didn't go back and watch Bruno Sammartino. I didn't do that shit until I wanted to be a wrestler. And I had to.
I'm still not watching Bruno. I'm sorry.
Yeah, WCW let it all hang out.
Bear hug, clothesline.
Thank you for paving the way, but he was not interested.
No, Cure for Insomnia.
Sorry.
Cure for Insomnia, those old wrestling. But that's what I'm saying. But I feel like people, the young people now, because of the way wrestling is now, because it's right, it's hard to watch the '90s.
Well, and also think about it. WCW's been dead for 24 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know, if you were born in 2000 and 2005. You don't know what it is.
Put it this way: my wife was born in 1995. Felix, who the last guy I was training, I'd still kind of work with, obviously. He was born in 1995. When he first started training with me, I brought up Chris Jericho's list, and he said, "What's WCW?"
Right?
And I looked at
you beloved soul.
I said, "What?" And he said, and I said, "You said you don't notice?" And I had to make him go and watch all this stuff.
You know what Chris Jericho's list is to these kids? You just made the list.
You just made the list. Exactly. That's no. Chris Jericho's list in 1997, he said that he was the man of 1,004 holds because Dean Malenko was the man of 1,000 holds. So he knew 4 more holds than Dean Malenko. So he was a better wrestler. And he comes out on Monday Nitro and drops those Xerox papers that just fold. This long fucking list of wrestling holds, and he starts rattling them off. Okay, and they go to commercial break. They come back. He's still rattling the list off. Okay, so it was a moment that to me, like I said, it was when you think WCW, a lot of people bring up that.
It's crazy. He's like arm bar, arm hold, arm lock.
He says arm bar 4 or 5 times.
Saskatchewan Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, the Saskatchewan spinning nerve hold.
Yeah,
that was the one. Yeah, the shooting star stapled super press was another one. The 3-handle family credential.
There you go.
All those things. And then he goes arm bar between everyone. So like it was very, very funny, man. Like I said, if you don't remember those moments, WCW is going to be on obviously YouTube now. I'm sure those moments will pop up. I'm sure you're going to get full nitros, they have the first episode of Thunder, which is funny to me. I don't remember the Thunder set until I watched this thing, and it was like a rooftop.
it was like Timu SmackDown fist.
Yeah, dude, it was so fucking funny, man, when I watched that shit. But for real, dude, if you haven't seen WCW, like I said, a lot of young kids don't really watch it. They're not into the old shit, but that old shit, man, is it fucking good. Compelling storytelling. You got another one? Let's see. Bring it up. You can bring it up if you want. All right, so WCW let it all hang out. They were the only ones to give Vince a run for his money. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it wasn't until they started using some realism, because when they were trying to do gimmick shit, Hulk Hogan was touching water and talking about how it wasn't hot. And he was getting what looked like to be butt fucked by a fucking guy in a Yeti costume.
And the attack! Oh my God. I can't believe we're coming up on 30 years of that.
I know. Dude, it's crazy.
We got a little bit of breaking news here.
Hold on. So you're not going to mention Scott Steiner, the Purple Warrior? Now I know Buddy Rogers is dead. God rest his soul. Did he say that? I assume. Scott Steiner's promos back in WCW when they let the fucking governor.
Oh, when he went off on Flair.
Yeah, he's an old piece of shit, right? So whatever you called him and shit.
We have some breaking news.
Breaking.
The WrestleMania 41 Hall of Fame will be held on the same night as SmackDown in a different arena, and it will be at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Oh wow! Holy shit!
Interesting.
Wait, they're in Vegas, right?
They're in Vegas, so it's 8 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's gonna be 8 p.m. there for them. So I'm gonna
figure. So SmackDown for them goes until 7. So it gives you an hour to get over to whatever arena it's going to be in, unless they're doing it in the same arena. No, it's a different spot.
Yeah, well, that's good. I like that, because listen, some people don't need to go to the Hall of Fame. If you want to go now, you have an option.
They're doing it at the Blue Live Theater at Fountain Blue, Las Vegas. The resort state-of-the-art is a 90,000 square foot venue.
Oh shit! Okay, it's 11 p.m. is way too late. Again, rough shot. It's way too late for us. But on the West Coast, you're watching at 8 p.m. It's right on time.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you what this tells me, because they very, very easily they could have done this on Thursday and went head to head with TNA. This is them showing a little, I think, respect to TNA.
I thought TNA was on Wednesday. No, it's on Thursday.
TNA is on Thursday, but their show is, I don't know if it's going to be on their TNA app or if it's going to be on TV. It'll probably be on both, ultimately.
Okay.
Yeah,
but Thursday is usually their show day.
Yeah, and they announced it as like some kind of almost like pay-per-view, I think. Like they gave it like a pay-per-view name. They didn't just make it a regular
it's
Impact.
Like
like Sacrifice or something or whatever.
Like if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Rough Shot says the Monday Night Raw era was the most epic time for wrestling fans. Anything was possible. It's very true. I mean, listen, the Bulls were at the height of their dominating the NBA, and Dennis Rodman was on WCW television.
Yep.
Rodman was missing practices with the Bulls to be on Nitro. That's how crazy that era in wrestling was. And like I said, everybody who shits on Travis Scott, now next time you see Travis Scott, just picture Rodzilla. Just picture Dennis Rodman, because that's all he is. This whole little thing that they're going to do. If this is going to be like a faction, by the way, and people keep talking about The Rock throwing 3 fingers up, and if you looked at the ring, it was Cena, Travis Scott, and The Rock. That's 3 fingers, dummies. He doesn't need another person. So stop trying to assume.
That's a disgusting group of Travis Scott.
I know, but stop trying to assume that Roman Reigns is going to join it and then be under the Rock.
They just turned him face.
Exactly. He's got the Ula Fale. He's the tribal chief. He is not going to be stuck under the final boss. Plain and simple. That being said, I don't know, because The Rock doesn't seem like he wants to wrestle, because like Malik said, The Rock basically said me and Cody can do a storyline without me ever getting in the ring. Yeah, The Rock really has no desire to get in the ring. So him versus Roman, and like I said, he tried to strong arm that last year. What? Well, we'll look in terms of a storyline, that it might actually happen, but you got to convince The Rock to get in the ring and work. The question is, does The Rock want to get in the ring and work? And I think the answer is no, because he's now doing a movie with Martin Scorsese.
Yeah,
right?
with DiCaprio. Yep.
I watched a 52-year-old man come out with more loose skin than a Shar-Pei puppy and say he's still the man. Are you referring to?
Oh, he's talking about he's doing a Scott Steiner promo on Flair, basically.
On Flair, yes.
Okay. Don't disrespect Rodman comparing.
I agree.
Oh, come on, man. When you saw Dennis Rodman wrestle and you saw him put the headlock on wrong, come on. I mean, come on. We knew, like, I'm saying, babies.
Everyone talks about Paul Malone's Diamond Cutter. What about what's his name from the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, the music guy?
Oh, Kevin Eubanks.
Kevin Eubanks.
Yeah, Kevin Eubanks. Yeah. You knew Jay Leno wasn't hitting that Diamond Cutter. Speaking of bad moments in WCW, Jay Leno having Hogan in the chin lock. That'll always go down in history. That was on the newspaper. That was on the cover of the newspaper. Hogan in the chin lock on Jay Leno. That's fucking unbelievable, man.
All right, friends.
This has been a great episode, boys. Thank you so much for breaking down AEW Revolution. I'm sorry you guys had to go through that. That seemed like Japanese water torture, essentially.
I would prefer.
You prefer the torture. Listen, next week our topic is going to be video game related because me and Malik are playing the shit out of WWE 2K. I just created myself. I'm starting to create everybody else. I created Felix. I'm going to create most of the family and put it in virtual MVW again. I'm going to be live streaming that as well. So if you want to check that out. On my other channel, if you want to be in the promotion, you have to join my membership, and then I will take the time to create you. Unless you're on a program with me like you two are. Then you guys.
But more breaking news. Not as big as what Greco had, but I just defeated Kofi Kingston with no finishers. Fuck you, Kofi. Fuck you.
We're gonna discuss that next week. WWE 2K, all their side quest game, fucking shit, and all that other stuff. But that being said, boys, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight and talking wrestling. Catch Spot Monkey Radio every Monday, 10:30 a.m. on your Eastern Standard Time on this channel. Then every Saturday at 11 a.m. we're gonna be doing the feed where I do Fantasy Booker, a couple takes, and we look at some of the news from the feed, whether it's last week there was no big news last Saturday. So we just kind of like broke down SmackDown and why they put all of a sudden the championship back on. Louisiana night. That being said, like I said, you catch this every Monday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is Greco. You can find Greco over on Instagram at Greco_club. You can find Malik over on Instagram at I Love Wrestling History. There you'll see great clips from wrestling from all over, whether it's Japan, WCW, ECW, TNA. Even I'm assuming soon he'll start putting up AEW clips just to remind just to remind us of how bad it is.
He wants to grow his fan base.
Yeah. Feed. But like I said, if you guys got nothing to do on Saturdays at 11 a.m., please come hang out with us. We're back at it live. That being said, that's Greco. That's Malik. I am Tony. This has been Spot Monkey Radio. Until next time. Deuce.